out the weak from who you've been. Can you win this war you're in? Is your point laborious, or will you rise victorious? Oh, take it or break it. Take it or break it. Take it or break it. Earn your throne.
Oh, jeez. Welcome to a very special episode of Take It or Break It. We are here to do the most important draft in the history of mankind. But first, let us introduce our draftees. A frequent friend here at Take It or Break It, an author at The Shocker and Real GM. It is, of course, John Wilmes. John, how are you doing?
Hi.
A lawyer, a writer for The Classical, and a man whose dog operates Mouse House Books. It is Damon Agnos. Damon, say hello.
Hello. It's great to be here.
A writer, occasionally for The Shocker, also, I believe, for Raptors Republic. This is the case, correct?
Yes.
Yes. And a friend of this program. It is Katie Heindl. Katie, how are you doing?
I'm good. I'm also the reigning champ of this exercise.
Oh, you are? You won the vote last time.
I did.
Oh.
The people's vote, the popular vote.
Yeah.
The whole thing.
The whole thing. And last, and certainly not least, a basket blogging legend. The current proprietor of the Second Arrangement, a newsletter you can get over on Substack. Is that correct?
That's correct.
It is. Kelly Dwyer. Kelly, how are you doing?
I'm doing wonderfully. Thanks for having me on.
Kelly, we did this exercise last time, and we had Alex Keeg on. But Alex refuses to be on this podcast. And so I decided to get an upgrade and go for basket blogging legend, Kelly Dwyer. So welcome.
Well, I thank you for having me. I refuse to pretend I even heard that anecdote. In fact, that entire old draft never happened in my eyes. And ears.
Thank you.
That's not true. I told you to vote for me.
No. I listen. That's a whole thing we're going to have to get into some other time. You know, suffice to say, I think everyone dropped several balls, but I defer to the host.
Thank you. As everyone should in this miserable life. All right, what we are doing today, there is a draft this week, an NBA draft, but we're not talking about that. We are instead drafting the coolest NBA players. Now, last time we did this exercise, it was the coolest players currently in the league. As I recall, Damon made a very bizarre choice. I can't remember. Oh, it was Enes Kanter. But for the most part, I think we got a lot of right answers. But now, we are expanding our focus to the whole of history and selecting the coolest NBA players of all time. Here's how it'll work. We are going to have teams of 5. Everybody will be picking 5 players. You may select between trying to create cool synergy, which is, of course, a risk, because you might not be able to get to your person, or to just pick the 5 coolest dudes imaginable. Either way works. I will let the audience select what they think is the coolest squad, based purely on their feelings. I, of course, will not have any selections in this, except to perhaps chime in with the occasional comment. But for the most part, it's just you and the whole of NBA history. Do we all understand?
Yeah, I have a question, Corbin.
Yes, Damon.
Now, there was pre-merge, or, some players played in the ABA and then in the NBA.
I was just about to mention it. You may also select the ABA players.
Thank you.
Is this reasonable?
But not players who were in the ABA and the NBA. They can only be one or the other.
You certainly can, and I suspect that some players will be. CBA though, off the table.
James Silas, come on up.
James Silas, Rick Barry, all the legends. We are going to select the order of this draft now. What I have in front of me is a number generator. We are going to do this all fantasy style. All Fantasy Everything style. Shout out to Ian Carmel, which is to say that this will be a serpentine draft. Means that we will go 1, 2, 3, 4. Then 4 will go again. 3, 2, 1. 1, 2, 3, 4. So on and so forth. Dude, is this understood?
Yeah.
Good.
Yes.
Dude, totally, dude.
Totally, thanks. I have a random number generator from 1 through 4. What we will do is we will pick, you all pick a number between 1 and 4, and the number that is picked, we will go in that order. Does this make sense? Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you, Katie. So, everybody, please pick a number between 1 and 4. Wilmes, you first.
1.
Katie, you second.
3.
Damon, you third.
4.
I knew it. And Kelly, this puts you on 2, of course. And here we go. The first number is 4. Damon Agnos, you will be selecting first.
Oh, wow.
Followed by John Wilmes, Kelly Dwyer, and Katie Heindl. Do we all understand?
Oh, yeah.
Kelly.
Good one. All right. Are we all ready?
I'm so ready, dude. Goddamn,
Thanks,
am I ready?
Wilmes. Thank you for bringing the energy, Wilmes.
I'm so cool. I'm not even here.
Damon Agnos, you have
All right,
the first
I'm up.
selection.
I'm on the
player.
clock.
Who
Now,
is the
are we,
all-time coolest NBA player?
Well,
Or the
are
first
we,
selection,
are
I
we
mean.
going to do this like the actual NBA draft where I should wait 5 minutes to see if I get any good
No,
offers?
no,
for the
Damon,
pick?
no. That would be.
Dame,
I'm
do you
taking
want to
offers
have a
on the
side?
pick.
Do you want to have a side Skype? Because I do have some offers for you.
Yeah. Should we just put this on hold? Corbin?
I'm not willing to litigate pick trades at all. I'm absolutely not.
Right,
This is
okay,
getting
so-
to be like 80s Fleetwood Mac level cool, guys. Come on.
And
All right. Well, since
and
we're on
I don't
Dan
have a
cycles,
Jalen Rose with me, so that dead space there won't be anything there.
I've got a zinger here. I'm going to go with a Modest Mouse title here. Good news for people who love bad news, because I'm selecting Marvin Bad News Barnes. If you remember one.
Marvin Barnes.
Yes, I am. ABA and NBA legend. Probably most famous for supposedly refusing to get on a plane that was flying one time zone over and leaving at 8 and landing at 7:56. Said, I ain't getting on no time machine. His coach said, I've never seen a player who was so totally disruptive. Anything he could do that would be disruptive and negative to the team, he would do it. Was known for showing up. One time showed up 10 minutes before game time carrying McDonald's, said game time is on time. Was benched for the first quarter and finished with 43 and 19. Also just a very entertaining player on the court. I'm going with Bad News Barnes.
Bad News Barnes, a wonderful cross ABA selection. Has Damon removed a player from anybody's board?
No.
I didn't think so. But you know what, Damon? I still think it's an excellent pick. Bad News Barnes.
Very good pick.
Who, of course, objected to flying on time machines. Our second pick will go to John Wilmes. John, who will you be selecting today?
Well, first of all, I didn't know Marvin Barnes was until a moment ago. But
He's responsible for the best image in all of the Loose Balls book, where Bob Costas talks about watching him in a locker room before the game, applying lotion to his naked body, talking about how the ladies loved watching him play.
Wow.
That's Bob Costas with a bowl cut and a tie the size of Senator Sam
How
Ervin.
have you not read Loose Ball? Wilmes, have you not read Loose Balls?
I don't even know what that is.
Oh,
Not
Wilmes,
the
you
Jason
should.
Williams
yeah.
book.
Oh.
You should, Wilmes. You should read Loose Balls. It's an oral history of the ABA.
It's on
Yeah.
all of our bathrooms right now.
All right. I guess I gotta.
Oh, it's so.
get-
It's basically just 1,000 crazy stories. Terry Pluto also wrote Tall Tales, another excellent book, but basketball history book. And he also wrote a really gross book about how basketball players weren't cool anymore. Anyway, Wilmes, who is your first pick?
My first pick is someone who's, if you wrote a thorough book about them, I suspect would have more cool stories than that book. And it is Rasheed Wallace.
Fuck you!
I mean,
And I also selected him because I knew He's one of the few guys I know that there would be a fight over.
Yeah, in all honesty, I gotta say, was shocked he didn't go number one. Rasheed Wallace, of course, an infamous
I'm going all deep cuts.
Honestly, I admired Damon for not just taking him. And an infamous shit talker, hater of authority, an NBA champion, a guy who went to the Celtics and got fat so that they would lose. Just a legend in every way. Please, everybody, share one of your favorite Rasheed Wallace memories in this time. Katie, you first.
Well, I don't want to read all the reasons why I picked him. I wanted to pick him first. But I said one of them is because I think he has the greatest smile of any NBA player for sure.
Oh, what a fabulous
But maybe
smile.
any athlete of all time.
Yeah, what a smile that guy has. Sincere, certainly, but also with a hint of madness. I would go.
He's always in the middle of just laughing and that like a cartoon laugh, like
Kelly Dwyer, a Rasheed Wallace memory for your thoughts.
Bob Costas watching him rubbing lotion on his naked body.
Damon Agnos.
I think my favorite, I guess this isn't a memory technically because I did not witness it, but I think it is a crowning achievement to get thrown out of the McDonald's All-American game.
That really is some unbelievable shit that he managed to pull. What a legend. And John Wilmes, why did you select Rasheed Wallace?
I think I'm going to play an audio clip. Do you want to hear it?
Yep, please.
Whoa.
Go right ahead.
Is it of Bad News Barnes rubbing lotion on his body?
God, I hope.
Page, middle of the page, wherever headliners, column 1 or 2, we will win game 2. We will win game 2.
And they did.
I'm sorry, that was the wrong clip. I meant to find the.
I thought that was the wrong clip.
It's still pretty cool because they did win.
Well, it did. It was titled "Guaranteed." I just wanted to get the time they said it was not a guarantee, but a guaranteed.
Oh, okay.
But you guys know about that.
Of course, the legendary practice rant. Wherein, wait, was that him? Was that not him?
Allen Iverson.
No, that was
Christ.
remember, he bit Danny Ainge
I feel like a colossal moron now. Okay, next.
in a fight at Boston Garden.
Real quickly, I've been talking to a number of investors about starting a hedge fund that only takes guaranteeds, and I think it's going to go really well.
So what? You just get stock tips from Rasheed?
Yeah. Oh, he has to approve every investor basically.
Oh, okay.
What about other famous Rasheeds?
No, there are no other famous Rasheeds. I'm pretty sure.
Who's the second most famous Rasheed? According to Google, it is Rasheed Jamal, who is a rapper. At least on mine, it looks like he's a Portland area rapper. Huh.
Do you remember when there was like the Rasheed Wallace, Rashard Griffith thing, like back in when they were both high school players? They were like the two most recruited guys.
Please tell me about it.
Yeah, like Rasheed was like the quick one, and Rashard was the kind of the bruiser, and he played at Martin Luther King in Chicago, like big high school, and then he just never turned out to be much.
Oh.
Everyone's like Rasheed, Rasheed. You know, it was kind of like Dan and Dave or Uma and Oprah.
Kelly, do you remember this?
He's not wrong.
Okay, fair enough. Second pick, Kelly Dwyer.
This is tough. I mean, there are many, many appropriate candidates at the top of this, but I think I'm going to have to go with classic cool and go with Walt Clyde Frazier.
Certainly.
From Southern Illinois University.
Certainly. From Southern Illinois University. Knicks legend. The only acceptable NBA color commentator.
Good autobiography, too.
One of the craziest NBA books ever written. I think it's safe to say.
Not so.
What I can't even remember what it's called. Kelly, what's it called again?
I have no idea.
I've got it here. I'll pull it out. It is just called... Well, I have Frazier,
Clyde, right?
One Magic Season in a Basketball Life.
No.
I did not remember that part.
No, not that one.
Oh.
Well, while you're looking up, let me top off this.
Yes,
what is it,
please
Sports
justify
Illustrated
yourself.
article from 75. Knicks had just lost to Golden State, but Walt Frazier, as usual, had things well under control back at the Oakland Motel where he and his Knicks teammates were staying. Frazier joined some friends in the cocktail lounge. He finished off a glass or two of wine and danced with one of the women in the group, a homely brunette. The party was still going strong when Frazier abruptly got up and announced grandly, "I'm going to have a bowl of granola and go to sleep." That's how the feature began.
Just fabulous. So fabulous. By the way, the book is called Rockin' Steady.
Yes.
A guide to basketball and cool. It is a let's call it it's a 144-page book that kind of looks like a small textbook, and it is a series of short essays about how to be cool and play basketball cool. The man loved hats. The man was a cool New York Knick, which, I mean, there's only so many of those. Really just a fabulous selection.
Just the handful of NBA people to be able to handle the city of New York and life as a Knickerbocker.
Exactly.
And in reading that book, you get the image that, like, he wrote the entire thing while flying on an airplane between games. And in 1972, what was cooler than flying on an airplane? It was basically them and Zeppelin up there.
It was a pre 9/11 world, certainly.
Oh man, it was a pre DB Cooper world, brother. Everything was going on.
Yeah. Yeah, DB Cooper really ruined the flight. If DB Cooper, if he were an NBA player,
they started watering down the bourbon after that.
Oh, they did? Oh, is that why DB Cooper did it? Because he got drunk?
There's a lot that goes into it, including, I mean, what do we call them? Airline attendants now. There's a few conspiracies in it. My idea is that the Secret Service member tripped and fell, and that's how we got him. But we can get into that in the next podcast.
Kelly Heindl. Or Katie Heindl.
Jesus. Hi.
Katie Heindl. Please.
Don't make anyone half Irish.
Who is this? Who is your first selection in this?
I am half Irish. Well, because my number one dude of all time just got nabbed. I think I'm gonna go. I'm pretty sure about this choice. I'm gonna go with Allen Iverson.
Allen Iverson. Katie, why is Allen Iverson cool?
I think he's just 100% cool in the way that people who seem like they aren't gonna want to hang out with you are cool.
Oh, they're just, like Allen Iverson is the type of human being that you can't even really imagine interacting with.
No.
Yeah.
Or like not in a cool way for me.
Yeah. What would you say to him?
I don't even know.
Yeah.
I mean, nothing. I would choke. I would probably just. But a couple other cool. I don't know if you turned down the lead role and he got game.
I think I did know that.
That's kind of cool.
Not cool.
And I recently learned that when he played in Turkey, his favorite restaurant was TGI Fridays.
Of course.
I think he's just cool. He just does what he wants to do.
Now,
all the time. He likes what he likes.
Should be noted regarding Iverson. His life was a complete disaster.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, I don't know if I agree.
I mean, so the odds went for many of us. Maybe not to that extreme. Speaking fair. Of maybe specifically the summer of 2002 for Mr. Iverson, but
he went off the rails a bit, but
okay.
Whomst amongst us.
Well, I certainly haven't done Allen Iverson. That's actually not true. I actually probably have, in my own small way, gone off the rails as much as Allen Iverson. But who am I to judge? Katie, you have the next selection, as this is a serpentine draft.
Good. Love it. I'm ready. Tim Duncan.
Oh, great choice.
Katie, you're going to have to defend yourself on this one, I think.
That seems
not
rude,
to me, Katie.
But okay. Thank you, Damon. I have just down. He just is. To me, he's like the wizard tattoo,
okay, yeah,
and then in general, like embodying the persona of a wizard at all times. I think he's one of these guys. He doesn't even think about cool or what being cool is, and He definitely doesn't care because of that. You know, his long clothes.
And it shows.
Yeah.
He accepted the MVP award in like a big red 5XL
Yeah.
polo shirt and like shin length jorts and Birkenstocks. That's badass.
He's so cool. Oh,
He wanted
I-
his teammates to
I don't
call him
know, he
Merlin,
just,
and they
like-
refused.
yeah.
Which
so
rude.
something.
He was the best player on your team. You couldn't just fucking call him Merlin. God, I gotta say.
also
I-
like a-
No, I couldn't call him that. No, I could not.
now, Kelly,
That's
Change
I,
your name to
Weird.
Amir after spending a summer away somewhere, that's one thing. You come back asking me to call you Merlin, I don't care if you gave me a quintuple double or whatever in the deciding game against the Nets. I'm going to call you Tim.
No.
But this
I'm
is
not-
a terrific
I'm not-
choice. This is an
I'm not
amazing
done.
choice otherwise.
I have a couple more reasons.
oh please.
You know, he started doing kickboxing just because he went to the jungle just to rip around for a couple weeks on his own. His trainer said he's a killer, but he just seems so nice.
He's super nice to players too, like players on other teams.
He's kind.
Helped Eaton
Kind
Thomas, like when he blocked
eyes.
Eaton Thomas's shot. What's that?
He's kind eyes and long clothes.
He is a now.
There's no finer combination.
Katie, some people will say that the fact that he perpetually wears long clothes and has an ostentatious tattoo of a wizard,
I wouldn't call it ostentatious.
it's a little ostentatious. Am I crazy? Wilmes, am I
What
crazy
tattoo
here?
is not ostentatious?
Yeah, I
Every
guess that's
tattoo.
fair.
Like
As a
Deshaun
person who has
Stevenson's
tattoos,
tattoo
every
is
tattoo is
ostentatious.
fucking dumb.
Not my dad's friend Bill. He had a tattoo that said Bill on it. I don't think that was ostentatious or
Maybe-
dumb.
Maybe that's the only one.
That's the most a friend of Kelly Dwyer's dad story I think I've ever heard.
My dad tried to convince me last night that he met Randall Tex Cobb in the early 90s. Again, I'll save that for another podcast.
Certainly, please do. There's so many things I need explained in that sentence. So let's just move on. Tim Duncan.
I think that people who fundamentally disagree with that choice fundamentally disagree with what cool is to me. So there's no convincing them, and I don't want to convince them. I don't want to know them.
All right. Hey, fair enough. Kelly Dwyer, Serpentine Draft. You have the next selection.
What Katie just said was the coolest thing of all. I genuinely not genuinely because I'm going to talk after this, but I'd like to hear her talk about Tim Duncan more because that's wow. More wonderful options, as I'm sure we all have at this stage, but I think I'm gonna go more serene as opposed to the off kilter. I'm gonna go with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar
with my next pick.
Please. Why is Kareem cool?
Well, I mean, he named his biography Giant Steps, and I know that's kind of like a freshman year jazz album, but it's still a killer song.
Is that the only reason?
When he had a fire in his house in 82 or 83, one of the first things he did after telling everyone that him and his family were safe was he asked for help in replacing his jazz record collection because there were a lot of rare records in there that were hard to replace.
Yeah. May I
Bunch
offer...
of MVP awards.
Now, I want to make it clear. I think Kareem is probably the second greatest NBA player of all time, possibly the greatest basketball player who ever lived. A fascinating guy, just a wonderful guy. But, Kelly, there's one element of his life that you are going to have to defend if you are going to say that Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is cool. He has written professional Sherlock Holmes fan fiction.
That's
Well,
so
I mean, did he-
cool.
Yeah.
Katie, please.
Katie?
I'm with Katie.
I think it's cool. You're the only one who doesn't think that's cool, Corbin.
All right, okay. Fair
I mean,
enough.
maybe Anglophilia is the next wave after this whole mess settles down into
Okay.
2018.
Okay.
Maybe he's ahead of the curve. And if I'm pressed, he blocked me on Twitter.
He
That's
did.
cool as hell.
Why did Kareem
So-
block you on Twitter, Kelly?
He had to look me up. There is one, my fourth tweet ever is asking him about a jazz band, the Crusaders. That was our only interaction. He didn't respond to that, and then he surely read something I wrote on Yahoo about maybe the way he treated Michael Olowokandi or Shaq or something.
Oh.
And he had Google Kelly Dwyer and skits past all those kitten photos and hit the button. So
And he just
bless
said-
the man for
And
that.
he just said, "Go to hell, Kelly Dwyer."
I wish.
Should be noted, of course, Kareem Abdul, a medium legend.
I thought it's pretty large, Corbin.
Yeah,
Well-
an internet freelance writer. Now, given I am a freelance internet writer, so I think that's pretty cool. But, Kelly, is that also cool?
I don't know because I can't see his output because he blocked me, Corbin.
that's fair.
Were you
That's
not
fair.
listening?
Yeah, my apologies.
Did you have a snafu?
Yes, I did.
I can't
actually
read
did.
Kareem's stuff anymore except Giant Steps over and over and over again because it's a completely life-changing book. It's wonderful in so many ways.
Wilmes, how do you feel about it?
So he just has he writes stuff that you wouldn't expect. He has stuff for The Hollywood Reporter. This article is called Southern Charm, which is a Bravo reality show. Southern Charm is the anti-romance reality show. That's an op-ed he wrote. Then he has another one that's called This Season's Bachelor is Out of Step with the #MeToo Era. These are the types of things that Kareem Abdul-Jabbar writes in his free time. I remember he had
do you read all your dad's emails?
No, I
Sometimes
don't.
you got to skip some stuff and just let the legend remain.
He had a prominent op-ed in Time magazine during the 2016 election cycle about political correctness. It was very, very, very reasonable, I have to say.
What did he say?
This is the same man that appeared in a sketch making fun of the song Short People by Randy Newman on Saturday Night Live back in 78 or something. He's not averse to this sort of controversy.
Oh. Yeah, I'm not going to get into I'm not going to unpack all of what he said in the thing, but I did end up. I got strong-armed into teaching it in a sort of secondary college in a classroom, and I kept on being frustrated that the students didn't know who Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was.
Well, if there's one person we can say is not cool, it is John Wilmes, who has the next pick. John.
Okay, I'm having a hard time. I have a lot of options here. I'm just trying to think of who to take.
Stay away from my options.
I don't know who you want to take. No, I have no more extremely obvious choices. So I think I'm just going to go with Nick Van Exel.
Nick
good
Van
choice.
Exel.
Yeah, dude.
Bastard.
That is a fascinating pick, Wilmes. Why is Nick Van Exel cool?
I mean, extremely undersized dudes who go to the lane are all automatically cool. Just you have to have an incredible amount of testicles to do that in the NBA. He played in a very creative way. He was very tricky and fast and fun. At one point when the Lakers were getting swept by the Jazz in the game 4 closeout, the season's about to be over, Western Conference Finals, I think it was 98. 98, yeah. He did they were supposed to do a chant to get their spirits up, and he just said 1, 2, 3 Cancun. I also want to read this story that I was looking at earlier. This is from a Real GM forum or something. It says this is 1993, and Van Exel is getting into an argument with George Karl. It's a pre-draft tryout, and he's going to maybe get drafted by the Sox, I guess.
A guard getting in a fight with George Karl? Why?
Right?
I never.
So basically, Nick Van Exel was making fun of Dean Smith for some reason, and George and George Karl was getting pissed off about it, obviously. And then so it says after breakfast, Van Exel went up to his room to dress for the workout. Downstairs in the lobby, Karl was threatening to cancel the workout and drive Van Exel back to the airport to punish him for his hearsay against the Carolina Godfather. So I'm waiting for him in the lobby, Karl said, and he walks off the elevator wearing a Duke hat. He came out of the locker room and walked right past Karl without making eye contact. His Duke turned sideways on his head.
Where did he acquire a Duke hat?
Maybe he already had one. Maybe
It was 1993. They were pretty ubiquitous.
Oh yeah, pardon me.
I hope he slapped the floor.
I'm working on a feature on that very subject for
Are you really?
the website you mentioned at the beginning. I'm going to share one quote I got hanging around here. Nick says about Carl, he's the kind of person who likes to play mind games with people, and so am I. It's kind of hard to play a trick on somebody who likes tricks.
I almost.
This is a man without an NBA team at this point.
I almost took John Starks as my point guard because one of my favorite. First of all, he really got in Jordan's face, and that was cool.
You can't.
And he was,
John, you can't
What?
just talk about another player for no reason.
Yeah, you're fucking.
There's no way John Starks is getting taken. He's not cool.
Yeah. Well, so
I just wanted to quickly note that he is of the category that two of the guys I took in the active players version of this were, which is got drafted to the NBA, didn't really make it, went away, and then came back way better. And that's a cool category of player.
I agree. Look, I agree, but we'll get to that in a minute. Next is Damon Agnos. Damon, who are you picking?
Got another unconventional pick here. I'm going to go with Ronnie Cycli, DJ Ronnie Cycli.
Ronnie
House music legend.
Cycli.
Built a disco in his garage at age 14 in Athens, which charged players from opposing teams to come party there. Used the money to improve the disco. He was famous for always being surrounded by beautiful women anywhere they went. And got discovered as a DJ when he was hanging out with P. Diddy and some famous house DJ named Eric Morillo or something. I don't know anything about house music. And because he had his own little nightclub in his mansion where they would all go party after the games or whatever. So I like Ronnie Cycli. I liked him at Syracuse. He's kind of got a unique look. Would wear the short shorts and
certainly. And a house music legend. I mean, that's all you're. Has anybody here heard Ronnie Cycli's music at all?
I have, yeah.
I've heard it everywhere for the last since 2001 or so. It's pretty much the music nowadays. It's very frustrating. Not his specifically though.
Yeah, just
His type, his kind of music.
I'm going to send you guys a great Ronnie Cycli picture from when he was at Syracuse of him looking seductive in a leather jacket, holding a basketball, leaning in the doorway of the Acropolis Pizza House and Restaurant in Syracuse. You can kind
Presuming we don't already have this on our desktop to begin with. Ronnie Cycli is also the guy that refused to report to the New Jersey Nets, I believe, or Utah Jazz, whatever it was, because he was upset that he was being traded from Orlando because he loved the city of Orlando so much.
You gotta give Cycli some.
I want this to be the last team I play for, Cycli said. All I want to do is fit in, end quote, in Orlando. Sorry.
That is good.
Damon, we're not getting this picture. You're killing me.
Oh, yeah, it's coming through right now.
Oh my god!
Did you get it?
Yes, I got that. Is a picture of Ronnie Cycli wearing a leather jacket and holding a basketball in a pizza place called Acropolis.
It's very seductive.
Very, very seductive. Damon, an excellent pick. Once again, this is a serpentine draft, and so you also have the next selection.
Oh, that's how it works. Okay,
yes.
Wow. Then I'm going to pick his Syracuse front court mate, Derek Coleman.
Derek Coleman.
Yeah, there's some, you talked about this sort of the synergy chemistry thing there. I think they got along well. Coleman was incredibly talented, a lot of fun to watch on the court. Could throw some crazy passes, kind of a point power forward. Could do everything, did not work very hard. Was when they instituted a dress code when he was in, I think it was when he was in New Jersey, though I'm not sure. It might have been when he was with the Sixers. When they instituted a dress code, he decided just to write a blank check and said, "I travel in sweats." And then funny thing is, he actually became a Larry Brown favorite. So a guy who was kind of like the fuck up, the kind of guy who didn't live up to his talent, became a favorite of the right way dickhead, and Larry Brown talked about during the Malice in the Palace how he was glad that Derek was around to protect his son, who was a ball boy. And he talked about how much he liked Derek and wanted Derek on his coaching staff because he was a very smart player, understood the game well.
Derek Coleman. Does anybody else have any Derek Coleman thoughts?
He once sat on Steve Kerr in a game.
Fabulous.
It was during one of his bigger years, 97-98. It was Kerr's last year in the Bulls, and I don't have the play in front of me, but just out of my senior year of high school memory, he basically just fell on him and broke Kerr's collarbone. He was out for 2 months, 2 months of that last championship season with the Bulls. So those are some special moments.
Yeah.
What does Kerr say here? I thought it could have been avoided, but you'll have to ask him. I'm sure he'll say that he wasn't trying to do anything.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that Steve Kerr used to be a dickhead.
Oh, I mean, Chicago kind of brings that out in people.
Yeah, that's fair.
Plus, his wife was way into calling sports talk radio shows and just giving those guys the business. It was hilarious.
Wait, is Steve Kerr's wife?
Yeah, Margot Kidder, because she's a woman. First off, not to pander here, but I'm sorry, she's
the original Eric
than
Jr.
any of those dopes in the Chicago Mike Northam can handle. And yeah, she'd just call in there and use words that didn't rhyme with ow, and they'd be won over by her dry and cerebral wit, which tends to stick out when you're talking about football in December in Chicago, my hometown. Margot Kidder.
Next up is John Wilmes.
Sent you guys
no, wait, it's not
picture.
Wilmes.
No, it's me.
It's Katie. I'm sorry,
God
Katie. I'm sorry,
damn
Katie.
it.
I'm so sorry. Please stop screaming at me.
I just want to say before I pick that Ronnie in that picture that Damon sent looks a little bit like Damon.
Oh, wow.
Look very close.
I gotta say, Damon, it's not that far off. And Damon, of course, is also a notably tall man.
Mm-hmm.
Not as tall as Ronnie.
Well, no.
Who knows from this angle?
I guess I have to give Derek Coleman to give me a big hug, and then we'll be able to tell.
Yeah, we'll know then for sure. Okay, so my third choice might be a little bit contentious, but I feel like that's what I'm known for on these things. I'm choosing to draft Dennis Rodman.
Woof.
He's very annoying now and not cool, but at the time in his heyday, I'd say he was extremely cool. He in a way that NBA players I don't think really get to even anymore. He dated Madonna, Vivica A. Fox.
Carmen Electra.
Yeah, true. I mean, I wasn't gonna say to me those other two are the top two, but yeah, Carmen Electra as well.
Rumored
he
with
dated
Tony
some
Braxton
celebs.
after the '96 VMAs.
Yeah, who
Really?
wasn't he rumored with? I feel like I don't know. I know he's people hate him now. He is kind of sad and annoying, I guess. But I think you've got to look at him in his prime and his heyday, and for me, part of the legendary Detroit Bad Boys. So
Certainly.
that's another reason. If you want a more legitimate reason, I guess.
Of course, we have two of America's foremost Chicago Bulls experts here. How do you guys feel about this pick?
I'm a little jealous. I took Rashid though, and I don't really see how you can have both of those guys. I'm trying to make my team fairly they can play together. I don't know if those guys can be able to play. He's incredibly cool though. I mean, when you are giving up how many pounds on Shaq and guarding him in the post effectively, and changing the color of your hair all the time, and when David Robinson takes you to dinner to tell you that Jesus is going to save your life, and you say, "I can't live that life," and when Greg Popovich hates your ass and trades you away, and because you're too cool for Texas, basically, yeah, he's very cool. Come on.
Thanks.
Popovich was
Thank
there
you.
then?
Yeah, he was the GM.
Yeah.
Oh.
Hated Rodman.
Maybe hard to blame him. But Dwyer, do you have a Rodman thought for me?
Yeah, I could be sincere about Dennis because, I mean, I got super into the NBA again in 95, 96 as a thing, like a calculated asshole kid thing. Let me show my pals what I'm gonna do. Right? When he was that last year on the Spurs, he was like it was Pearl Jam. Like we had kind of moved on. He was like the guy. He was like the Dante Calabria. It was the guy who played for like North Carolina that year, and he loved Pearl Jam. So that meant he was and somehow cool and alternative. And Rodman was like not cool, but then he became a Bull, and you just kind of, with all the wedding dress stuff, you also kind of got to know this shy dude that would not take sunglasses off in public, and this really vulnerable person who really badly wanted to be loved, but he didn't know how he wanted it. He didn't know if he wanted attention or a contract or he just didn't know, and he chased everything, and he's still chasing stuff, and it may take him a while to figure this shit out, but I'm just hoping he's around for all of this. But I mean, yeah, he's always going to be D-Rod in my eyes. He's a good guy, I think.
It could argue he did some good with Kim Jong-un, although it seems like not a very good guy to sidle up to. It's really a tremendously bizarre story, and a tremendously bizarre career, but certainly the only one of there was only one Dennis Rodman career, and it was Dennis Rodman's. So,
Corbin, it seems like you're the only hater.
No, I like him. I'm good. We're good. The Kim Jong-un stuff makes me nervous because I find palling around with dictators a little gross. I can't help it. But other than that, I have no problem with him. Next.
Yeah, that's fair.
Is Kelly Dwyer. Kelly, who will you be selecting next?
I think this is tough. But I have faith in the long draft. This is my third selection, correct?
Yes, sir.
I'm going to take Chris Webber.
Whoa! Whoa, Chris Webber.
I was going to go for the full name, but no, it's C-Web. Chris Webber. Just an all-around impactful, amazing player. Just a treat to the ears and eyes alike whenever he showed up, whenever that was. It took a while. It took him till Sacramento for a lot of us. But once he got there, I mean, this guy had everything going up against him, and then he had the lockout year for people to mock, and he went and turned an entire franchise around, and he didn't even want to be there in the first place. He's a remarkable person and a remarkable player, and I know we shouldn't involve the NCAA in this, so let's not. Fuck him. Just on NBA merit alone, Chris Webber, I think, involves inclusion on this list, as I think my team will remain formidable with him in the low post looking for cutters.
Cool, almost cooler by the fact that he never quite scaled the mountain, right?
Oh yeah,
Yes.
No doubt.
Yeah, and I like more, I think, than any other person in the history of the NBA, like the dude who got fucked by the Lakers and by like ref culture. You know what I mean?
And badly wanted to be a Laker. I'm going to relay this quote because I did a thing on him a couple of months ago, but I couldn't shoehorn this thing in there. But I love this quote so much. He was traded on I think it was like the day after I turned 18 or like the day of the last Seinfeld, day that Sinatra died, right around there, traded from Washington to Sacramento. Did not want to go there, wanted nothing to do with Sacramento. Didn't put out a statement, just was in a short interview and said, this is one situation where time will not heal. Time will not make anything better. Time is just a means to an end. Time, in this situation, is a means to a definite, unadulterated, non-negotiable end. And then that was the last we heard of Chris Webber until like the lockout lifted and he was running this amazing team. I mean, those are crazy retirement words. And he got his chin up and worked his way through it with a guy from Florida.
He didn't. The Maloofs were new then, so he didn't realize how cool they were.
Yeah, it was hard to figure out. What neat.
I mean, they had to show you those primo serial number 0001 copies of Maxim that came out that year, encased.
Yeah, and gold, and they came out in gold at that time, of course.
Yeah. Look at this wicked connection I have to the broadcast.com feed, Chris.
Wilmes, you're next.
Okay, it's my turn, huh? I think I'm going to go with Steven Jackson.
Ooh! Stack Jack maybe got off the board a little late. Why is he cool?
He said that I make love to pressure.
Yes, he did. He did, certainly.
And he actually did do that. He is just... I like that he's very forward with like all of his stories about basketball and his life, and that they're always extremely entertaining, and that he's just like fucking real. He's a real person. I don't even know what to say. If I have to convince you, like, it's kind of your problem on this pick.
Steven Jackson memories, please. Let's hear them.
Maybe the time that he smoked weed before a game.
Ah, wonderful.
Which
When
apparently
Mike Whitaker shoot him out for eating popcorn before a game.
Wait, what?
Not shoot him out, but was, Steven, I don't know if you're supposed to eat pop. I mean, it's kind of might dehydrate you and see what. Oh. That's all about it. That's all I remember. It was on the links in like 1999.
That's the stupidest story I've ever heard in my life.
I wanted to destigmatize the pot thing and doing things before the game, and I wanted to bring a basket blogging legend into this.
Thank you.
Current video game guy.
Yeah.
Stack Jack.
I think that he's part of two significant moments of coolness in this century of basketball. And hear me out, because one of them doesn't necessarily sound cool, but there were just a lot of cool people involved with the Malice at the Palace.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Everyone involved with the Malice is cool.
Yeah.
It's
yeah.
weird. Like, I'm not willing to say it's a cool event, but pretty much everybody involved is cool.
Jeff Foster even dunked from the free throw line once.
Yeah. Yes.
Yes.
Ben
Probably more than once.
I also think that, to go back to Kelly's pick, pretty much everyone on those Kings teams is cool.
We don't want to ruin anything. Of course, Vlade certainly cool, but next pick.
Well, one more Steven Jackson thing.
Please,
he was also on the court on what game? Well, he was a teammate of Rasheed Wallace's in Atlanta.
Was he?
Oh, that's right. But how many? Rasheed played one game there?
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Was it maybe two?
He had 20 points on 24 shots. Teammate Steven Jackson had a team-high 25 on 9 of 18 shooting. He had 5 3-pointers and 7 rebounds and 6 assists as a teammate of Rasheed Wallace's.
Rasheed not only played one game in Atlanta, he did an interview afterwards where he was like, look, we're the Hawks, and we're going to do it like that, and was traded to Detroit literally the next,
This is
day.
a great lineup. First of all, they beat the Nets, which was a 31-20 team going in. Rasheed Wallace, Jason Terry, Steven Jackson, Joel Prisbilla, not bad, and Boris Diaw was the starting.
Boy, that is a fucking cool lineup, dude.
Ooh, that's a good lineup.
Even the Vanilla
and
Gorilla.
Steven Jackson led it in scoring.
Ooh, shit, that's cool. Anybody who can find a video of that game for me, please give it to me so I can talk about it. So I
It
can
was
watch it and talk
even
about
in
it.
East Rutherford.
Oh my lord! Oh my god! Next pick belongs to Damon Agnos. Damon.
Oh wow, I'm on the clock. I'm gonna go with one of my all-time favorites, Vladimir Radmanovic.
Vlad Rad.
Yeah,
Vlad.
Oh my
I
god!
love Vlad.
Oh man! Damon, he probably still would have been on the board at the end of the draft, but
I know.
I know that Agnos couldn't say no. Please, Damon, tell me everything about why Vlad Rad is cool.
Oh god, there are so many things. He got kicked off of the Serbian national team at halftime because when his coach was chewing him out, he got out a banana and just started peeling it and eating it. Then he spent the second half in the crowd signing autographs for people. The next coach offered a TV or a laptop to anyone who could get him Vlad's phone number. When Nate McMillan decided that he wasn't going to let his players wear, I think, headbands in the playoffs, he went to a hair shop that primarily serves African-American clientele on Rainier Avenue and got himself braids. Famous Vlade look. He broke his shoulder, separated his shoulder snowboarding, and then lied about it to the Lakers.
He's like if Liam Gallagher were a basketball player.
He said he slipped on ice, right?
Yes.
Right?
Yes. Yes. He
separated his shoulder.
By the way, the coolest or second coolest team you can lie to about that by far.
It took Phil Jackson. They were just such a perfect match.
Who'd already lost the guy to a separated shoulder while surfing, Luke Longley.
Brent Barry, when Radmanovich first got to the Sonics, Brent Barry took him, and I think it was Potapenko. He bought him tickets to a Bruce Springsteen concert and took him to a Springsteen concert. And like 10 or 15 minutes in, Radmanovich called his agent and was like, "This sucks. Come pick me up."
It was probably in the Rising tour.
Yeah, it was
That's true.
It was a bummer of a time for Bruce Springsteen and for America.
Yeah. And he just had a flair about him. You know, he'd wear like white pants and white shoes with no socks, like a Miami Vice style look. Just all sorts of crazy outfits and hairstyles and whatnot. Just a fun guy. Also, like really, just like never improved. Like came to the league talented, and like did not improve at all.
A fabulous selection, Damon. Next is Wilmes again.
Is it? Man, this
Is it?
I think that's how it works. Yeah.
I think you muddled it up pretty badly.
Yeah,
but,
I think I might have, but
You really fucked this up.
I think I have a second selection now because it's Serpentine.
How cool is that, though?
no, because Damon, you have 4 picks and everyone else has 3, and so it seems like everybody else needs to get to 4 before you can take your last pick.
Yeah, that's just certainly what it seems like.
Does that make sense?
Wouldn't Wilmes be grabbing his 4th now?
That's what I'm about to do.
Yes, that is what he's about to do, and then Dwyer will, and then Katie will, and then Katie will get her last one, and then Dwyer, and then you'll get your last.
Yeah,
one.
then it comes back to me, and then I'm the last person to choose.
Yes, you are the last person to choose. Yeah.
So that makes sense now.
Cool.
Okay, never mind. Sorry.
Good. Cool.
Sorry.
It's all right. Damon has a child. It's fine. Wilmes.
Something I'm realizing. Well, I don't know if you what position we really qualify Steven Jackson as. More of a shooting guard in my mind than a small forward. But small forward, I think, might be the least cool position historically.
Wow.
Because I'm trying to get like a good wing, and I just don't really feel like there's a lot of cool wings historically.
Maybe you shouldn't be drafting for need. What's less cool than that, man?
I know.
In fairness, Kelly is right. There's nothing less cool than drafting for need.
What are you, Jerry Reynolds?
Okay, in any event, I'm going to draft what my heart wants more than anything right now, which is Andrew Bynum.
That's a good choice.
Wow.
Andrew Bynum. It should be noted, it was a steep hill to climb for Andrew Bynum, a Lakers center being thought of as cool. Unbelievable victory. Wilmes, spell out the legend.
Well, the extent to which he rejected being like part of a Kobe machine team eventually, you know, he was very young and he was like, "Oh, I have to be good. I'm going to do this. Yes, I'm very good." And then he just like stopped caring, which was very cool. And you know, his whole like gradual exile from the league has been very cool. He's always done what he wanted. He's always had like interests that were very weird. He likes to make like very complicated like remote control helicopters or something. And probably the coolest thing of all time was when he just showed up at that finals game, like completely unexpected. Not even like as an NBA person, just like as a guy who bought a ticket to the game on a whim, and like took the Cavs like home stadium rally shirt and just like tossed it over his shoulder while having like a dyed blonde fro. And that picture of him in this moment just like chugging a tall boy, like looking completely like blissfully released from the pressures he formerly knew, is just one of the greatest, you know, pieces of photography that exists.
Yeah, and I think that him knocking Barea out of the air is a pretty uncool moment. But I feel like the fact that he came back from that and just spit in basketball's face is It like recontextualizes that. Like he had a moment of such pure rage that he turned around, he sat down, he looked at himself in the mirror, and he went, "This is stupid," and just spent the rest of his career jerking off into cakes until they told him to get out of the league.
Yeah, his whole sort of spiteful thing was great. I also really enjoy your theory that he ruined Roy Hibbert by convincing him that basketball is stupid.
That's a great theory.
Yeah, because he played for the Pacers, and almost immediately Hibbert, who had basically spent his career like clearly being a dude who was a little too cosmopolitan to focus entirely on sports. Like I think Bynum
and also a wild basketball overachiever. Like, yes, he's super tall, but like this guy made a mountain out of a molehill.
Really an incredible career in a lot of ways. But like, I've always been convinced that
when he was trying.
Yeah, I've always been convinced at least a little bit that Andrew Bynum got in his ear and was like, "This shit is so fucking stupid." And
it should also be noted that when he knocked Brea out of the air and they ejected him from the game, he took his jersey off and just walked out topless. Classic Rodman move, of course.
Yeah.
And not one that we see often enough. Probably the funniest of all time is when Dunleavy did it. But yeah, we need to see more of that these days. Why is nobody doing that anymore?
It's a professionals league now. It's a Nate Duncan, Daniel LaRue league now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. This is the podcast where you know what? I'm taking my shirt off right now. I'm doing this. I'm gonna do the rest of this. My fifth pick will be topless.
I'm so happy to hear that. Next selection is that of Kelly Dwyer.
Hey, I mean, you guys, again, we're going for the synergy. I'm just trying to shoot for the moon. Chocolate Thunder, Daryl Dawkins. Why is it taking this long?
Look, it's...
Last time I saw Daryl Dawkins was at a Brooklyn street fair.
What was he doing at a Brooklyn street
fair? Being Daryl Dawkins. Being just Daryl Dawkins. This was like 2008 or something, maybe?
Daryl Dawkins, of course, said he was from space. Incredible dunker, one of the great in-game dunkers. The first NBA player to come from straight out of high school. But please, Kelly, why was Daryl Dawkins cool?
I mean, for all, like, if your parents didn't get introduced to rap through Blondie, then he helped everyone else get into rap, him and Bill Robezine. He also called James Donaldson the American Tourister because his head is really big like a suitcase. Just a remarkable player. Had his best years for the New Jersey Nets of all teams. Had his best TV moments with the Philadelphia 76ers. Played in the minor leagues for a while, I believe, in the late 80s. Suffered through his own chemical dependencies on and off, as many did during the era.
Played for the Globetrotters for a year.
Oh, do tell! It's please go on. I'm sure you might be more versed in him than I am. All I can say is I'm genuinely surprised he lasted on the board this long. He's an absolute legend, a myth maker without equal, and from that era. I mean, from most other eras I can think of, the guy really is a true legend.
Dawkins committed one, from his Wikipedia here, Dawkins committed one more personal foul during his career than Michael Jordan, despite playing nearly 350 fewer games. Just wonderful. Does anybody if anybody else has anything to say about Chocolate Thunder, please speak your truth.
Chocolate Thunder. If anyone can think of a better name for an athlete right now, you're going to be a liar. So don't even try.
Certainly.
What about the Black Mamba?
I like Slim Reaper.
No, his name is Asshole Drexler. That's his nickname, is Asshole Drexler.
Wow, Jesus. I'm not quite sure that's fair to Drexler, honestly, but
I think it's fair.
Yeah, I guess. The next pick goes to Katie Heindl. Katie,
do I have back-to-back?
You do have back-to-back.
Great. I feel a lot of relief now. Okay, so this will be my second last and last choice.
Yes.
Okay. So my second last choice I think he'll be a good anchor, a nice balance for my team thus far, is Dikembe Mutombo.
Dikembe Mutombo.
I've met him before, aside from being a very nice man, IRL. He's so tall. And I know all NBA players are pretty tall, but he was so tall that he was sitting on the tallest stool, like taller than a bar stool I've ever seen, and he was just sitting, and his feet were not only flat on the ground but like extended a ways out, and his foot was as big as like the middle, like the stool has the place where normal people rest their feet before you get to the ground. His foot was as big as that piece of metal and the floor.
Oh my Lord. A giant human being, a 4-time Defensive Player of the Year. I don't know how you guys feel about it, but I feel like Defensive Player of the Year is probably the coolest award you can win.
Oh no, Comeback Player of the Year. Because back when that existed, it meant he was a coke problem.
Yeah, that is, you know what? Kelly actually makes a pretty good point on that one, but of course we don't have cocaine or the Comeback Player of the Year anymore.
No more. I think it's very cool that his signature move got banned from the NBA, finger wagging.
That is cool.
Couldn't do it in game anymore, banned. And I think he is a great entrepreneur and philanthropist and social leader, if I'm being really real.
Yeah. Yeah, certainly a dope, unbelievable voice on that guy too. Of course,
good voice. Yeah,
one of the greatest quotes of all time too.
Certainly, the time that he walked into a nightclub and yelled, "Who wants to sex Mutombo?"
There's no way that's real, by the way.
Come on, Kelly. You know what?
It doesn't seem like something he'd say or scream.
Oh.
You know what? I think Kelly.
He wasn't doing it in the bar you saw him at. At this oaken majesty that this picture that you painted. He wasn't walking around doing that at age 48.
No, this event was like it was like some type of tech startup.
Oh, yeah.
The only way I thought he would do that was if he was inebriated, because just the picture painted of his English skills before he came to the U.S. Didn't seem like a fellow that would spout that unless he'd had about 14 natty lights, which who knows? He was in college.
Please show a little respect. We call them natural lights on this show.
Well, Alonzo Mourning says that it happened, but I'm not sure he's a reliable source.
Doesn't seem credible. You need at least a couple more people to verify, I think, a quote like that.
I choose to believe that it's true, personally. Dwyer, have you heard anything one way or the other on this?
No, I just think that it could be true. No, all I remember is the T-shirt from college, same as you guys.
Agnos, have you heard anything?
No, I don't have any independent knowledge now.
Oh. Kelly, goddamn.
No.
Katie. I'm not gonna lie.
Christ,
I thought, who's the woman on this, and then I said Kelly's name because sometimes it's a lady's
who's the
name.
one making the good picks?
Yeah,
Katie.
Katie is making.
I feel like I should hang up after that.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
That'd be cool. That'd be pretty
It's
cool.
incredibly late. I'm on my last pick. Come on.
I apologize. Katie, what is your last selection?
My last selection, I'm just going to preface it with, I'm not going to give any justification other than reading a really long quote about salads. If that gives you any clue. No? Okay.
No, not off the top of my head, I'm afraid.
It's Kevin Garnett. And here's the quote. If I was a Caesar salad, the croutons would be my friends. The lettuce would be my family, and the dressing itself would be my mom. Because you can have the lettuce and the croutons, and it can be called a Caesar, but until you have the dressing and it actually tastes like a Caesar, he trails off. Now, Cobb salad, that's a different story. If I was a Cobb salad, my wife is the lettuce. No, sorry. My daughter is the lettuce. My wife is the bacon strips. My friend Steve is the avocado. Cassell and Ty Lue are each a grape tomato. Tom Gigliotta is the chives and also the hard-boiled egg. All my childhood pets are the cheese, and my mom is the Caesar dressing. I asked for Caesar dressing on my Cobb salads.
That's a good idea.
That's incredible.
Yeah, I've heard worse ideas, I suppose. Kevin Garnett. Now, I'm just gonna offer a very brief rejoinder to this pick, which I think has a lot of validation. He was a bit of a tryhard.
It was so genuine, though.
Yeah, he didn't mean it. He didn't mean it.
He did mean it. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Like the Ty Lue anecdote about watching Making the Band. Remember that one?
No, please, Damon, regale me.
I can pull it up here because I was just Googling when she said that because it reminded me of it. Ty Lue says, a lot of people do all their howling on the court and they're faking just for attention, but what he does is genuine. So one day we were at his house and we're watching Puff Daddy's show Making the Band. And in one of the scenes, some new guys came in and were trying to sing and were trying to compete against the guys who had been there. And KG just got so hyped. Motherfucker, you got to stand up for yours. You got to fight, motherfucker. You got to come together. He's going crazy. He's sweaty. And he just headbutts the wall and put a hole in the wall of his house. I mean, if he's headbutting, he's putting his head through a wall in his house over Making the Band. I think it's all legit. Like, you just not faking it.
I've heard worse justifications. Katie,
He also once refused to sign a new contract, because he was in the studio with Janet Jackson recording.
Yes.
Recording what, too?
Pardon?
The Velvet Rope.
Yeah, the Velvet
Arguably
Rope.
the coolest.
He was behind the Velvet Rope.
yeah. Katie, an excellent top-off to a fascinating draft from Katie Heindl, I would even go as far to say. Kelly Dwyer, who will be your last selection?
I'm going to have to go with Wayman Tisdale.
Wayman Tisdale.
Saxman.
Bass guitarist.
Oh, it's bass. Oh, my bad.
One of the...
Oh, I didn't hear... I wasn't actually correcting you. There's nothing cooler than that. I didn't hear you say anything. I just thought you were gawing at this amazing pick that I just made. The late Wayman Tisdale. Wonderful player, wonderful person, and also a fantastic
smooth jazz bassist. One of, I think, the strangest imaginable American lives, Wayman Tisdale. A professional basketball player, lost his leg, and became a notable smooth jazz bassist afterwards.
More or less.
Yeah. What a...
Kind of the proto Blake Griffin, just a high flyer, and then developed a smooth lefty jumper once he got into the NBA. And, somewhere along the line, he figured out that his interests lie elsewhere. And,
And he chopped off his own leg.
I was playing guitar around some of his tracks earlier today. I'm not going to say any of them hold up. I'm not going to say they held up even back then. But as boilerplate smooth jazz, it's some funky, go to the dentist sort of stuff. Immaculately played, immaculately produced, and all available on YouTube. Wayman Tisdale.
Wayman Tisdale, fabulous pick from Kelly Dwyer, I think. John Wilmes.
Fuck it. Michael Jordan.
Fuck. I wondered.
I
don't know.
Oh, come off it.
No, I won't.
All
Wake me up when this one's done.
Oh my God. I don't even want to hear this bullshit.
All right. I don't know. Why is Michael Jordan cool? I don't make a podcast about him or anything.
What am I supposed to say?
I don't know. Why is he cool?
I mean, you ever heard of him?
I don't know. Did he do anything or what?
Yeah, he did plenty of things. He's cool. Honestly, I was just sort of throwing synergy to the wind.
Oh yeah, a little bit. You think? Yeah,
I think you earned yourself a championship, though, maybe 6.
Looking at this team, I think MJ would probably get along with Rasheed and Jackson. I think he probably couldn't play with Van Exel, and I think that Andrew Bynum, he would have murdered Andrew Bynum.
I mostly think that if somebody doesn't think Michael Jordan is cool, it's because he killed their dreams at one point or another. And that's really all I need to say.
Kelly Dwyer, a notable Bulls enthusiast. Kelly, is Michael Jordan cool?
I believe so. He listened to Anita Baker before games on his Walkman, and also has Janet Jackson's cell phone number, mobile phone number.
Well, I guess that's true. Now,
in the 80s.
Now, I just want to say, there's one rejoinder to this, which is that
also signed a Valentine's Day card for me once when I was like 5 years old.
Oh, wasn't that nice of him?
Yeah, 85.
Yeah. Hey, Mutombo never did that. Or did he? Did he? Kelly didn't.
Not yet.
Yeah, do you think he wouldn't though, John?
No, I think Mutombo would do it.
Yeah. Just a very brief rejoinder.
For me, yes.
Just a very brief rejoinder to discuss regarding whether or not Michael Jordan is cool. He is a lunatic who can never be happy.
Yeah, that's cool.
Is that cool?
No. It's cool for the rest of us though.
Okay.
And he's fully like in it. He's fully committed to, well, he was when he was a player anyway. I think he is way more at peace now.
I don't. Is he still the same way? I think he's fully embraced the middle of the road, starting with his pant wear on upward to as far as whatever he said the roof goes, 42 wins apparently. Yeah,
no, I think that he needed the mediocrity of his 2-year Wizards career to sort of settle him down a little.
He's a mean dude with a gambling problem.
He does, Katie.
The gambling problem is.
I would say, like, if you're giving KG grief about always trying too hard, that's precisely the reason why Michael Jordan, in my sense of cool, how we've been picking our people, he's not cool.
But he's also the only person to employ Charles Oakley as a bodyguard.
But Katie, if we really want to go
cool. That is.
I think like, for all the reasons we're picking all of our other people very close to our hearts, like say what you will, but he's not those reasons.
Okay, but if we really want to go there, we can get into some Iverson revisionism that is a lot less pleasant.
Yeah, Iverson. Yeah, I think. And also,
but Iverson still never really gave a shit in the way that Michael Jordan did. Look, I just don't think like.
Well, he did beat the shit out of women.
Yeah, true. But back to Michael Jordan, not a cool guy.
Another, maybe some
Valentine's Day card for my late Aunt Pat.
Jordan,
leaning over the railing at Chicago Stadium.
I would like to say very quickly about Jordan's gambling. I don't know if he quite has a problem. I just think he likes to gamble and is also very rich.
The mystery of it is cool. We don't really know what it is. Some people speculate that it was bad enough to get him kicked out of the league, which I think is probably not the case.
You can't do that. You couldn't do that. That's just Bill Simmons. I don't want to name names, but you can't do that. An operation that large, the NBA is not smart enough. It just that sort of stuff doesn't happen, especially at the rate of money that Michael Jordan was going to make. And also, I just think he was like a 32-year-old that couldn't sleep. It was the night before a playoff game. I mean, we've all dealt with energy in our own weird ways in our lives. And, I don't have an issue with him having a bit of a nonsense age 32 to 41 around the time he was messing with the Antoine Walker problem.
Yeah. And he managed to win 3 championships during that insane period of his life. So, Michael Jordan, a fascinating pick that I think could go either way. Damon Agnos, you have the last selection.
All right, I am going to go with Mr. Hibachi, Agent Zero, Gilbert Arenas.
Oof.
He turned that locker room into just a total scene of chaos, just like it was jackass in there. He shit in Andre Blatch's shoes. He filled Andre Blatch's hotel tub with coffee. Andre Blatch threw his clothes in the jacuzzi. He had the famous gun showdown with Javaris Crittenden, waving a gold-plated revolver around. He would yell out.
Should be noted, Javaris Crittenden, who later murdered a guy.
A woman. He shot a woman.
Oh, Jesus.
Bystander. Yeah.
You're pumping up his badasses. He shot a woman, actually.
He missed. He shot poorly and hit someone who was standing on the street. I think is what happened, if I remember correctly.
Another Ernie Grunfeld draft pick.
And it was just chaos over there. Like, he was supposed to be the mentor, right? He was like the leader of the team, and like Andre Bloch had like a weekly strip club night, and it was just a very chaotic place. And then and Arenas was fun too, just in his sort of his defiant persona when he went on this Eastern Conference assassin tour when I think they didn't name him an all-star. The coaches didn't, so he was just like dropping 50 on Eastern Conference teams all the time. And recently amassed quite a trove of stuffed animals and things of that nature at a state fair doing Pop-A-Shot, which was pretty cool.
Arenas, another I think fascinating pick. A wonderful draft. Really quick, I want to go through each one of you, and I want you to say one person you're surprised didn't get picked. We'll start with Agnos.
Dwayne Shinsis.
the lobster himself. I don't know if I'm quite so surprised about that one. Wilmes, who are you surprised didn't get picked?
I'm going to do more than one, just because I have a list here. But I'll say Jason Williams. It's going to take 5 seconds.
Yeah, it's fine.
Jason Williams, Vlade Divac, Arvydas Sabonis.
Ooh, yeah.
Baron Davis, Jerry Stackhouse.
I almost certainly would have taken Arvydas myself. Dwyer.
Stack punched several men.
Vita Loca.
Stack, of course, one of the coolest moments in NBA history when he changed into a tracksuit so he wouldn't get blood on his clothes. Dwyer. Who are you surprised?
The popular pick is Meta for his contribution to the discussion at large,
and also for starting the Malice at the Palace.
Yeah, well, that could be blamed on the angst of the times. As someone
Malice
who lived
at
in
the
Indiana
Palace.
then.
The Malice at the Palace, a very post 9/11 thing that happened. Okay.
We don't have time for that.
Fine, fair enough.
Well, you know what else was the Michael Jordan was ready to make his announcement on 9/11. No joke.
Yes,
to play for the Wizards, and would actually talk to the Associated Press on 9/10, and then held off on the announcement. So I'd say that was more technically right there. I think the Malice of the Palace is sort of almost a leftover from the 80s, sort of just like the Reaganism coming back in the Bush years, just with way cooler people.
Meta World Peace. And Katie, who were you surprised didn't get taken?
Oh, Craig Hodges.
I also had Baron Davis, Scottie Pippen, Penny Hardaway, Muggsy Bogues, Hakeem Olajuwon.
Ooh, Dream. I'm a little surprised.
I forgot another one.
Yeah, Hakeem Olajuwon played like really hard playoff games, literally not drinking water because he was practicing Ramadan.
Yeah, that's pretty fucking cool.
Yeah, but he's also a teacher, though.
You know what? He did a really cool thing. He tried to make his cause to make designer shoes less expensive because he thought that's why a lot of kids were getting into fights and even killed at school for sneakers.
It's the proto Marbury.
Right.
Another guy who I'm a little surprised didn't go, Marbury.
Marbury's a great choice. I also had Nate Robinson, Olden.
Nah, no way.
Dude, are you dissing Robinson or Olden Polonese?
Robinson, just no way. Nah, that's some Seattle bullshit, Agnos. I refuse to cater to this.
Oh man,
I got you. Damon, I got you on this one. He's cool.
Thank you, John.
So
Thank you.
He's an overachiever, and it disgusts me.
I don't know. Steve Hess would be a good choice too, even though he's only a trainer.
Yeah.
Or a strength coach, rather.
Yeah.
I almost chose Steve Francis purely on the strength of his Players Tribune article.
That was a good article.
It is a wonderful.
Well, you know who's the weirdest that didn't get chosen? Paul Pierce.
Oh my God!
Actually, Katie, I hope you don't mind me saying you're wrong. He is deeply uncool.
Jury's still out.
I have one more player I want to talk about. That I think I would have picked, But while recognizing that nobody else would have picked him except maybe Wilmes, because me and John have talked about this at length. Reggie Miller.
Yeah.
Reggie's cool.
Yeah.
No.
Okay. Kelly, I want to hear your thoughts on the matter.
Because I had to move to Indiana in the mid-'90s, and I've seen his attempt at a late-night talk show make Magic Johnson look like Dick Cavett in his cross-legged prime. No, Reggie Miller, a bow-legged, cross-preening jump shooter. No, we don't need any of that. Preening to the Nike cameras, to the Miller Lite cameras, but still couldn't get. Terrible. No defense.
No defense. Is that really a Reggie Miller thing?
It was the 90s. Okay, like in the aughts. If Kevin Garnett was not your favorite player before you found out that he was kind of, like that, then you were a narc. In the 90s, if you were liking Reggie Miller, no one liked him anywhere. The only place that liked him was Indianapolis, and they had a capacity of 12,000.
Okay. All right, Kelly. All right.
Pushed off in 98.
Yeah.
He did for sure.
Yeah, but that's pretty cool, actually.
It was actually cool when he did that.
Yeah, it's cool. Yeah, sorry. Late game fouls you get away with are cool. Sorry, dude.
Yeah, that's my bad.
Well, excellent pick. Let's go through them real quick. Starting with Damon Agnos, who selected Bad News Marvin Barnes, Ronnie Cycli, Derek Coleman, Vladimir Radmanovich, and Gilbert Arenas. This is, I can say, the most Damon Agnos list of players imaginable. John Wilmes went with Rasheed Wallace, Nick Van Exel, Steven Jackson, Andrew Bynum, hell yeah, and Michael Jordan. One of the most controversial picks that happened this evening, I think. Kelly Dwyer went with Walt Clyde Frazier, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Chris Webber, Daryl Dawkins, and Wayman Tisdale. And Katie Heindl went with Allen Iverson, Tim Duncan, who I wasn't sure about, but she really convinced me, actually.
Yeah, he's in.
Dennis Rodman, Dikembe Mutombo, and Kevin Garnett. Which would be the most incredible NBA lineup I'd seen in my entire life, by the way. We will have a week-long poll on Twitter.com. I will go over to TOBpod, at TOBpod on Twitter.com, and it'll be our top tweet for a little while. Do you guys please promote things if you have anything? Kelly Dwyer, of course, you make the second arrangement, correct?
The second arrangement. And, before we go, can we all probably agree that Hawks lineup is probably cooler than any team we drafted?
Yeah, that is a fucking
way cooler.
That is cool as shit. I can't... If anybody has video of that game, I want it more than anything in the world now, so...
I'm not looking at the screen and I can hit it by memory. That's Terry, that's She, that's Steven Jackson, that's Joe Prisbilla, and that's Boris Diaw.
Prisbilla, man. The Vanilla Gorilla.
I'm surprised Diaw didn't get drafted.
You know what? Yeah. I will say, Diaw got mentioned. You know what? One more thing before we get to promotions. I was also very surprised Diaw didn't go.
And Tony Allen.
Tony Allen was certainly a snub, too.
There was a time when Tony Allen could not walk the streets of Chicago.
Why not? Oh, because
friends had some disagreements with him while he was an NBA player. One of the best stories in the NBA. Love Tony Allen.
Yeah. And Boris, of course, is very cool because he's a big, fat French guy who was still incredible at basketball.
He would ride a Segway to walk his dogs.
And was also a professional athlete. What a god.
The vertical jump anecdote, too, if it's true, is just incredible.
Yeah, for anybody who's not familiar, one day they had one of those vertical jump testers up, and Diaw was sipping cappuccino, and he said, "What is this?" And they told him what it was, and he jumped. Apparently, he knocked out the whole line of measurement tokens.
Yeah,
and then
he did it. He was in flip-flops or something like that?
Yes, he was not wearing proper shoes. He sipped a cappuccino and said, that was not difficult. And then he was so athletic that he was just like, I don't care.
Is named Boris.
Yes, and is also named Boris. Kelly, do you have any? Do you write anywhere other than the second arrangement?
No, the second arrangement, all my energy, and what a wonderful site it is. I say, if you dip your toe in, read it all for $5. Wondrous stuff awaits you. It's just deep dives every day as we go over the trove of NBA history that we have at our fingertips.
Absolutely.
The second arrangement. Just Google the heck out of it.
Yeah, it's Kelly is the best basketball blogger who is whoever lived, and you should read him. Oh, maybe him or Ziller. I don't know.
Certainly, I'm the tallest.
Yeah. I can't think of anybody taller, so I'm gonna have to go with you on that one.
Yeah, I'm 5'9", so. Yeah.
Agnos, what do you got? Got anything, Agnos?
No, I say go to check out Mosley's site, mousehousebooks.com.
Yep. You can read stuff. Heindl, anything going on?
It's summer vacation, as we all know.
Oh.
And I'm happy to say NBA Summer Vacation Watch starts this week.
Absolutely. Over at Vice Sports still?
Yes.
Absolutely. Katie, every week or so, Katie will every week, Katie Heindl will tell you about the summer vacations that all of your favorite NBA players are having. Essential summer NBA reading. John Wilmes, do you have anything to promote?
Just come to my court by my house and try to beat me in basketball.
Okay, hey, maybe you should promote the thing that people pay us for, though, not to.
Yeah, we'll have another classic podcast. Patreon.com/take a break it.
/TOB pod, as I recall.
Or
is it take it a break pod?
Patreon?
Patreon
sounds like a partnership with David Petraeus.
It's actually
it's also not a real word, so
yeah.
You can pronounce it however you want.
Patreon /take it or break it. You can pay me and John $5 a month, and you can listen to our podcast where we talk about Michael Jordan every week.
$6 a month, and you get to have 2 happy birthday wishes a year.
Yes, and also if you pay $6 a month, I will wish you and one other person of your selection happy birthday once a year.
It said two people of my choice.
I'm sorry, it's 2 people of your choice. It can also be somebody other than yourself.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, but me and John are talking about old basketball stuff, and right now we are just knees deep in Jordania right now. We're just talking about Michael Jordan stuff.
We're talking about Dennis Rodman this week too, but yeah.
Yeah. Who did what have we talked about so far, John?
We talked about the Bulls and the Pacers in '98.
Yeah.
We talked about Jordan scoring 63.
Yes.
In '86, and now we're going to talk about the Bulls versus Cavaliers when Jordan hit his first big iconic shot.
Yes, we're going to talk about Jordan's,
and also Dennis Rodman.
Apparently, we're also talking about Rodman. I suspect because he is involved in politics in the weirdest way possible. Anyway, so thank you everybody for listening. Please rate and review this podcast on iTunes. Check out the Patreon. Check out everybody else's projects, and have a wonderful day.